Would I be the hole if I send an email to the B-Day girl's mom, explaining why my daughter left the party early? My 43F, daughter Annie 9F, was invited to a party at a bowling alley to celebrate a classmate's birthday. Only girls were invited to the party and about 21, edit. I think it might have only been girls 17 were in attendance. We were about 5 minutes late to the party and arrived at the same time as another classmate, Betty. Due to the long lines, it took Annie and Betty about 10 minutes to get their shoes and to walk over to the lanes. The hostess had reserved 3 lanes next to each other. As typical with bowling alleys, there was 2 curved benches for seating for 4 lanes. When we arrived at the lanes, the other girls' names were programmed into the 2 lanes, and an adult male was programming his name in the 3rd lane. Annie went to the area and was directed to the 3rd lane. I said hi to a few of the other parents and saw that Annie left the area. I asked her where she was going, and she said that she was told to go get a blue ball because it was lighter. I realized that the ball was 14 pounds, so I told her I will go look for a lighter ball for her. And I came back with a ball. One of the parents asked if I was bowling, and I said that I was just getting a lighter ball for Annie. As I gave the ball to Annie, I heard the dad of one of the other girls say to Betty that her name is now on lane 2 as the birthday girl's mom, the hostess Dana, came by. I asked Dana if Annie can also be added to lane 1 or 2, and was told that Annie is in lane 3. I was surprised and walked over to lane 3 to see that Annie was added to lane 3, and the only player on lane 3 was Annie playing with the adult male, who we didn't know, with a bunch of other players named Kid 1, Kid 2, and Kid 3. I then saw Annie sitting by herself. I asked her if she wanted to go to the other bench to join her friends, but she said she was on lane 3 and was waiting her turn to bowl, though the adult male was bowling for the other kids. Let her be and went back to talk to some of the parents, but 5 minutes later realized she was still sitting alone on the bench rather than joining her classmates on the other bench for lane 1 and 2. I walked over and asked her again why she didn't join the other classmates, and she said that she felt left out. So I asked her if she wanted to go. She said she did because she didn't want to play with the adult male stranger. So Annie and I walked out. As we went out the door, her friends asked her why she was leaving, and she said she didn't want to bowl with the male stranger. The other parents asked me why we were leaving, and I said that Annie was playing on a separate lane by herself. A few parents offered to have them take turns in lanes 1 and 2, but by that time Annie had walked out. I then took her out for ice cream. After we left, I realized I could have asked Dana to divide the girls evenly into 3 lanes, but by that we had already left. I'm really upset how the hostess thought it was okay to isolate Annie, and am glad I didn't just drop her off and leave. Would I be the hole is if I sent the hostess an email explaining why we left early and how the setup was exclusionary, and that it was improper to have my daughter bowl with an adult male stranger instead of her classmates.